Guys, hello.
You start, Andre. I'm just going to sit here and...
Are you Mr. Truck?
No, I'm not Mr. Truck. Where is Mr. Truck?
Guys, welcome to another Talking Trucks show, and Mr. Truck is really busy. He's trying to move houses right now, so we always do a truck show on Thursdays, but you have some truck news.
I do.
A little bit, so...
Yeah, I've got some truck news about the Tremor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And this show, guys, is all about you. So we call this What Truck or Car, when we're doing a car show, should I buy? And today, it's all about trucks. And so if you have any questions, we're going to do our best to answer them. We're going to go behind the veil, Andre. We're going to go tell you everything that we know that we shouldn't be saying.
We're not holding anything back.
No, we're not holding anything back. So if there's anything that you guys want to know that we know, we will share it with you. So let me start with the big Tremor news. I just came back from chatting with some of the big honchos at Ford.
Yeah, you were there at the 2020 Escape, right?
Yes, and I talked with one of their PR people, the head PR person, and we were talking about the Tremor. And he reckons, and he should know, that the truck is going to be red hot. Of course, it could be a little bit of PR spin, but I got a sense that there's some inside information where they think this thing's going to be just super hot. So why don't you tell them what the Tremor is?
So I think it's a good recipe to begin with. Yeah. By the way, we're getting so many questions from you guys on our email, ask@tfltruck.com, about the new Super Duty. And I think some of the questions here in the chat room are getting there as well. And the 2020 Super Duty is getting a few updates, and the Tremor is a new package.
Yep.
It's a fully off-road worthy package, and it's basically you're getting a bigger tire.
It's a kick in the balls to the Power Wagon.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. It's a kick to the ball. Of course.
No, I think it's kind of an uppercut because the Power Wagon is still standing.
I'm going with a kick to the balls. You know why? Why is it a kick to? You guys know why it's a kick to the balls.
Well, it's a diesel engine.
Exactly. You know that.
No, so here's
you guys have been asking for diesel
in the Power Wagon since the beginning.
Exactly, and here comes Ford saying, you know, to Ram, we've got.
Yeah, but where's the winch? I don't see a winch on this. I don't see a front selectable locker.
You could put one.
Well, I don't see a front disconnecting sway bar. So Power Wagon is still there. I mean, it's still hanging on the ropes.
All right, let's be real. The front disconnectable sway bar is nice.
Yes.
But it's not going to make or break the truck, right? It's not like you can live without it, right? But the diesel engine is what. You guys, it's the number one question.
It's really heavy. It weighs 1,000 pounds. Why do you need to lug around 1,000 pounds of engine?
It's a big, truck.
Yeah.
Well, or you just get it with the 7.3 then, which is still bigger than the 6.2 Hemi. So
the Tremor package basically gives you bigger tires, about 35-inch tall tire, Duratrax. You got a rear locker. You got kind of a side step that's pretty aggressive, and you get a new look. And it's available in several different trim levels with gas or diesel power.
Okay, anyway, so Mark Downing, I'm just going to give you a quick what people are saying. Says, happy Thursday, it's a beautiful Colorado afternoon. It sure is 77. Yes. Oxy Dragon says, thanks for the walk around of the Toyo tire event. Thank you for going to that, Andre.
Oh, heck yeah. And we have another video coming, actually, about all the overland trailers.
You know, Victor says Ford is the best. And Peck, Michael, and Christina say Ford is unreliable. So there you have it. Both of you guys are on different sides of the conversation. Street Muscle 2015 says, "What's up, TFL? We just bought a new vehicle."
Yeah, but are we going to tell them yet?
No, we got once again.
And Don wants to see a picture of the hood, and maybe we should publish this on our truck and car websites.
Yeah, thank you. It's all of our donors.
You guys, our biggest supporters, are here.
Yeah. So that's wonderful. So let's get back to this Tremor. So the PR guy said that they're seeing a lot of interest in the Tremor, and I think they're right. I think it's the right truck at the right time. You know, it's taken Ford way too long to bring out the Bronco, but this Tremor came out of nowhere. I didn't see it. Did you see it coming?
No.
Did you guys see it coming?
Tell us. Tell us in the comments. Yeah.
Hey.
Whoa. Albert Thompson. How's the Ford Raptor's reliability?
It's good.
It's a good question. We don't have a Ford anymore. We're the first gen.
Yeah, our first gen was, three things broke on it, dude. The steering wheel
adjustment.
Yeah, that electronically goes back and forth. That broke. The brake controller broke.
And we replaced it.
That was replaced under warranty. And one other thing broke. There's something minor.
Was it like a door latch or something?
No, I'll think of it before the show is over.
Alvar, for $50, you get a hat. So if you want us to sign it, let us know and email at ask@tfltruck.com with your shipping address as well.
Oh, hey, I've got T-Power Boy saying I'd like to know more about the new Tundra. Our friend, I shouldn't probably go there. our friend Tim has done a show, and when we were, I think, the first to say that there was a twin turbo hybrid coming.
Right. That's the information we had.
Yeah, Tim did a video that basically said we were full of, you know what?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and beans.
Yes.
And beans, Andre. And that he had inside information from Mike Swiergen, the chief engineer, that that's not coming. And then recently he did a video kind of updating that.
Yeah.
He kind of changed his opinion.
Well, so it's all rumor right now,
Yes.
or unofficial information. Toyota hasn't said this is what it's going to be. We have a lot of images of prototypes, Tundra prototypes running around.
Yes.
And the whole information is that came to us via email, 3.5 liter turbo, twin turbo, which is similar to the Lexus
and
engine.
that came from a good source. We felt confident. We wouldn't report it if it was like, you know, some guy stopped me at the gas station and said, "Hey, I got some news
twin
for
turbo."
you." We actually did a little bit of research and we verified that source. So we wouldn't say it if we weren't confident that that is actually what is happening. Of course, it's still a rumor, but we're pretty sure that's what's happening.
State Fair of Texas is coming up at the end of the month.
Yep.
And Toyota always does something, right?
Yep.
And Nissan is going to be doing something, so stay tuned for the State Fair of Texas about 26th of September.
So Cam says, any news on the new Bronco? I just got back from the Escape. If you watch that video on TFL Car, you'll note that the guy who's in charge of crossovers and SUVs, who would be the same guy who's in charge of the Bronco, basically said that the Escape platform is going to be the same platform for the new baby Bronco. He didn't call it the baby Bronco. He called it something like the little bucking buckaroo. I watched the video. He wouldn't use the word Bronco. I use the word Bronco.
Well,
so
it's also technically rumored to be the Adventure or the Maverick. It has many names.
Yeah, but we think they'll be like a serious Wrangler competitor, and there'll be this baby Bronco, which will be based on an Escape. Thinking behind this, Andre, is that the current Escape, right? The first generation, I think I remember it was kind of cool and boxy and off-roady, right? It's almost iconic. The new one, it's very urban. And so,
very swoopy, just kind of rounded.
It's kind of got a little bit of a fat guppy look to it. And so the theory is
that the baby Bronco will be boxy again,
the Ford thinks that this will sell mainly to urbanites who happen to be female, and the Bronco version will sell mainly to males who happen to be maybe non-urban. And here's the crazy thing, Andre. We're talking trucks, but how do we go into the sideline? But
well, we're following the conversation.
We're following the conversation. Buckaroo. Yeah, it's true. They called it Buckaroo. The crazy thing is, do you know how many RAV4s Toyota sold last month?
Like in 50,000.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
It's mind-blowing. That segment. There are 22 vehicles in that segment now. It's the hottest segment by far in all of automobiles and trucks, bigger than trucks, right? Because when you do the math, multiply. Trucker Dan, man, thank you.
$20.
Last episode, I see y'all mentioned that Zach had to go rescue Roman and Tommy in the Tesla with the generator. When is that video coming out?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Because it's coming in a couple of days.
It's coming this Sunday. So we just got done editing it, we didn't make it.
And if you were at the Overland show, the Toyo Tire Trail Pass show, I talked to a lot of you guys there at the show about it.
Guess what Zach brought to rescue us?
He brought the Rouser, the Ram.
Yeah, he brought the truck.
Yes.
And so I don't want to spoil it, and I don't want to make this sound like a commercial, but Sunday the video comes out, and basically the headline is going to be something like, bad news for electric trucks, Teslas can't tow across country.
It is bad news.
Fail.
Yeah, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, you can't tow.
It can tow very fast for a very short distance, and then it doesn't tow anymore.
Hey, Living Beyond Existence says, love the wood desk. Where'd you get it? This is our Harbor Freight special, dude. You know.
Yes.
Thanks to our very nice contributors, we get to go buy stuff like this and not waste their money.
Top end.
On expensive desks, but on expensive camera equipment.
Yes.
Which is more important, I think.
And drones.
And drones. Yeah.
Where were we? Oh, the Bronco. I want to do a story, and I will. On either truck or car website, we have so many patents about the Bronco. Yeah,
the baby Bronco coming into next year.
Is that what they said officially?
Got it. Yeah, got it.
But the Buckaroo.
Yeah, the Buckaroo. Yeah.
It's not baby Bronco. It's the Buckaroo.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, but when is the big Bronco? Where's the Ford Ranger Bronco coming?
We can make some educated guesses, right? And the way that we do that is usually like 6 months before the car actually hits the dealerships, we see them being tested in prototypes.
Or unveiled officially.
Yeah, usually, it's sometimes, So I haven't seen any of the big Broncos.
Well, we saw, remember the Ranger thing that was kind of looked like a Ranger, right?
Yeah.
That's been running around.
Yes, that's been.
You know, with a big
so
kind of
maybe
shell.
maybe that's the Bronco. I don't know.
I will go on a limb and I'll say that this November in Los Angeles at the auto show,
They're not going to.
we'll either see the baby Bronco or the big Bronco.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Guys,
Because Los Angeles isn't that kind of a show. Los Angeles is like.
Well, you know, LA was where they showed the ZR2.
Yeah.
The Chevy did.
Yeah.
And I think wasn't the Wrangler shown there as well?
No, Detroit.
The Wrangler was in Detroit.
Was it in Detroit? Or was it in
Okay,
LA?
maybe in Detroit.
Maybe it was in LA.
Maybe in Detroit. But I think LA has that, you know, kind of outdoorsy, you know, sun-loving, just kind of free-form spirit where the Bronco could fit.
So let's keep going.
Before you do, I just wanted to say that screen's been flickering behind you. I was working on fixing it, so sorry about that.
All right.
Okay.
You want to read some questions? Let's answer some questions. This is what truck or.
Yeah, and you can go through maybe the chat room just a little bit.
I will.
So we always get questions from you. We love that because we can tell what you guys are thinking. So John has sent us a question about the Acadi's opposed piston engine. Remember in the Detroit show a couple years ago, you did a video story on this truck.
Yeah.
Which opposed piston basically means it's the opposite of the Boxer, right? The Boxer is going side to side, but these pistons come together.
So Boxer goes like this, and these go like that.
Yeah, towards each other.
Yeah, does that make sense, guys? So like the connecting rods are out here versus in here.
So, and it's actually an old idea, right?
Yeah.
Some of the old warplanes had this type of engine, but the Acadi's group, the engineers, are redesigning it so it's actually emissions compliant, more powerful, et cetera, et cetera. I've emailed them a crazy amount of times.
Yep.
I was like, I want to drive this truck, the F-150 or any prototype, and they haven't had one for testing yet.
Yeah,
So
you know, it was one of those moments in time where that just blew up and people were super interested in it, but they've been very quiet ever since. So, you know, to me that says, you know, they're still working on it.
Yes.
They don't have a lot of money maybe, but it hasn't actually, you know, I mean, we would have heard about it. We're not the only media outlet out there, you know, going after news. And
they're based in California, so a California magazine could have done it already, right?
We've tried, So, it's you know, I don't know if it's vaporware, but
well, it's not so much vaporware because they're also working with semi trucks.
Yes.
And semi trucks could use these types of engines as well. And it's all about, you know, not electrification, but another technology.
So sometimes when a story is too good to be true, you know, we don't know. We can't see into the hearts of their accountants. You know, we just do the best we can given the circumstances. And you know, we had a video that we still are getting emails on that turned out to be basically a scam, right? I'm guessing it was a scam. It's my opinion it was a scam. We did a story on, and we'll talk about this as well because that was the big news of this week, of a company that was importing Defenders.
Okay.
You remember that company? It was called Mastodon. It was based here in Denver. And what they were doing is they were buying like used military, G-Wagons.
No, G-Wagons, not Defenders.
G-Wagons. They were buying, we're going to talk about the Defenders, sorry. They were buying used G-Wagons and then they were refurbishing them and selling them.
Military versions, basically,
Yeah, and you know, G-Wagon is very expensive, right? It starts at 120 and if you get the AMG, it's like more like 170. And even a used G-Wagon, which we didn't buy, by the way, that wasn't...
Right.
That wasn't the one we bought. Those are very expensive. Those are still, even like a 2003, which is the first year they started importing them, those are still in the $20,000 to $25,000 range. So these guys were selling basically these great G-Wagons. Well, it turns out the company just went out of business and disappeared. And you know, like I said, we can only do the story. We don't know what's going on with the accountants.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think a lot of that may have been too good to be true.
So, I mean, I'm hoping opposing piston engines have a future.
Yep.
Of course, they use the F-150 prototype, which is interesting. Martin is asking, when are you going to test the 2020 Godzilla? It's the big 7.3-liter gas engine against the new Power Stroke Super Duty. Everybody wants to see that. I get this email about once a day. When are you testing new Super Duties? And they're coming in December.
Didn't you test it yesterday?
No.
People assume we do stuff we don't.
Well, I tested something else yesterday, which was the Eco Diesel, the new one.
Yes, you did do that. You ran that up to Ike, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be probably not until December before we get our hands on one.
Because they're built at the end of the year.
Yes.
So we don't have them yet. Ford doesn't have them for us yet.
Yeah, and speaking of which,
yes,
that's the one, I'm not sure. Is that the one you want in the Tremor, or do you want the Super Duty?
Which engine?
Super Diesel Ford.
So let us know. So we have this argument between us actually here. I'm thinking that the gas V8 and the Tremor
We want to, at the end of the
is
year.
better.
So we've kind of decided that at the end of the year, we'll trade the Rebel in on a different truck, and then we'll have it for a year and see how it does. And so the one that's leading the way right now, because it's the coolest, I think, is
this one.
Is that truck. And Andre thinks we should get the 7.3, and I think we need to get the diesel.
Let us know what you think.
And why do you think? Let's make the argument, and then you guys pitch in and let us know what you would think.
So a 6.2-liter gas V8 has been around for many, many years.
But it's
now
updated.
Sure, but now this is a new gas engine. It's a new design.
Yep.
It's a push rod. It has more power. It has potential for a lot more power. There are tuners like 5-Star who will be working on this. 10-speed automatic. It's relatively more lightweight, but when you're jumping rocks, you don't want a truck that weighs 1 million pounds. You want kind of as light as possible. So I was thinking people are excited about the new V8 gas. Let's get the gas.
Yeah, and we talked to our guys at 5-Star, and they're getting a bunch of the gas ones too, and they said they could probably tune them to give more power, because let's face it, the numbers in that engine aren't breathtaking.
No, we were expecting over 500 horsepower,
Yeah, and we're not.
right?
We're
not getting that.
Yeah, we're in the 400s, same thing with torque, and the rationale behind that, the engineer told us, was because they wanted longevity. So that's good, because you can, I suppose, supercharge it. Turbocharge it.
Yes,
Yes,
Zach?
So there's kind of an unofficial vote going on in the live chat, and it seems the gas engine has it so far.
Okay, so what's
That's
your
the which one
argument?
we should
What's
get.
your argument for the diesel?
So my argument for the diesel is, first of all, the diesel will tow a lot more.
Heck yeah.
So, we do a lot of towing, and towing is kind of the thing that heavy-duty trucks are known for. I know this is more of an off-roader, but I want the full capability of a towing rig that we can actually, try out.
Sure, and that's the Achilles heel of the Power Wagon, actually, right?
Yes.
Because it's a heavy-duty truck, the Ram Power Wagon, but because of its suspension, it's derated on towing and payload. What the Tremor, and that's why I agree with PR, at Ford, is that it's going to be hot because it's not giving up the towing ability
Yes.
for the off-road ability. So,
Yeah, so if you want to tow with it, then definitely the heavy-duty diesel is the way to go. I also like the Power Stroke because it's just like, peanut butter and jelly, heavy-duty trucks and diesels, they go together really well. And we've done a Raptor, we've done a Rebel. These are all off-road trucks, and they've all been gas trucks. And I think it's time we actually jump into the deep end, put on our big boy pants, and get the diesel.
it's going to cost like 10 grand over, right?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Well, Rob Herbert, $20. Thank you, Rob.
Any concerns with the new Defender 4-cylinder? It's around 400 pounds more than the weight than the Jeep Unlimited Wrangler. So
Big news.
Big news, yeah.
Yeah, big news.
Let's jump right into the Defender.
Yes.
I still think that it looks like, well, you kind of keep track of the 7.3 versus Super Duty. And let us know.
Zach will help us.
I mean, it's almost
Alyssa.
unanimous for the 7.3. I'm just
All right. What's the latest news on the Frontier? There's a new one coming.
In 2021 model year. So
They're gonna
Supposedly.
we're going to the State Fair of Texas in 2 weeks, and they're going to unveil not the Frontier, but the
updated Titan.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then that's coming first.
The Frontier will come later. So let's talk about the Defender, because that was big news.
Yes.
First of all, you guys let us know, what do you think about the style and looks? There's a lot of positive, a lot of journalists are swooning over it. I kind of like the boxy design also, but the four-door looks long. It just kind of looks like it's stretched. But it has all new engines, technology, straight 6, straight 4, turbocharging, mild hybrids, everything.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot of the comments, stories, watching the videos, and every journalist is pretty much over the moon on it. But these are guys who don't off-road regularly, a lot of them. People like Doug DeMera, who've done a video on it, think that just because they own one, they're experts, which I also disagree with. So right now, actually on our board, we're doing a video where we're going to rank it against the other 3 competitors that are probably the best. Let's face it, the best 4 off-roaders in the world are probably the Defender, hopefully when it comes out, right? The Wrangler, Rubicon, the Toyota 4Runner,
Yes.
preferably off-roader TRD Pro.
Oh yeah.
And of course,
G-Wagon.
the G-Wagon with its 3 locking differentials. So
Yes.
luckily we have a scale to measure how good something is
And we've
off-road.
tested all the other 3 vehicles.
And we've tested, so we've put them on our scale,
Yeah.
and then we've tested it in actual off-road
In
conditions.
the real world.
So we're doing a video, and we're going to give you the TFL ORI number, off-road index, on the new Defender. And
We haven't driven it yet.
We haven't driven it, but at least we can
Right.
put it up against this.
There we go. I had to go grab a picture of it.
Yeah,
There it is. Oh, it's got a kayak, which makes everything better.
it does. This objective measure of off-road ability, and we'll see, how it stacks up against those other three vehicles. So stay tuned for that video. I was too busy buying another car today, truck actually. I was too busy buying another truck today, so I couldn't get that video shot.
A used truck.
A very used truck. Yes. A very used truck.
So Defender, the engines. What do you think about the engines? That was the question.
Yeah,
I mean, 4-cylinder turbo.
Yeah, I think it's probably the same one that's already in the little Evoque, and I drove that.
And
it
the
was
Jaguars.
good. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it's a good little. It's I think it's basically the Ford engine that's in the. What was it? It was in the Escape, right? The little 4-cylinder turbo. Because Escape and then like the Freelander kind of were based very unsimilar.
Well, they were together. They're not together anymore.
But that engine came from Ford, and it's a perky little turbo. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not sure I'm in love with the 4-cylinder and the Wrangler. We have it. There's another video that we're doing. It has
some issues.
Yeah.
The Jeep engine.
Yeah. And
Jeep 2-liter.
and our Wrangler engine has some issues. It's in the shop right now, being fixed because it almost left us stranded. So stay tuned for that video too. I don't know if it's going to be great. We'll see.
But what about that straight 6? It's like 395 horsepower.
I love straight 6s.
405.
Smoothest engines out there.
Oh my goodness, that engine is going to be mwah.
Yeah, and
I hope.
The other thing people are saying, I think the MSRP on that thing is just over $50,000
to start.
But I think that steel wheel, 50,000 short wheelbase Defender, you will never see it.
It's going to be a unicorn.
Yeah, it's going to be unicorn because the problem is dealers don't make money on the vehicle; they make it on the expensive add-on accessories
and service later on.
And service, yeah. So I don't see dealers actually ordering the steely wheeled. I see them ordering more like the $70,000, $80,000 one. It's just like with G-wagons, right? You can potentially get a G-wagon for $110,000, something like that. You'll never see one for that.
Right.
That's like $15,000, $20,000.
So Zach spec'd out the Defender on TFLcar.com. The configurator is already online. Zach did a lot of work, and actually, how much was the Defender you've built for your kind of like with your options?
So my philosophy with going and speccing out a Defender, first of all, only the 110 is available right now. The 90
may come later.
Supposed to come along later, but like Roman said, in the U.S., probably won't see it. I wanted to keep the cost down because, let's be honest, I can't afford an $80,000 Defender X, the top one.
Even in your dreams.
Yeah.
Right.
I stuck with the base one, stuck with the steel wheels. I think they fit the character of the car. Kept everything fairly simple, only went for a few choice options, and I got mine to 57. Which is pretty
That's
reasonable.
like a Rubicon territory.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a Jeep Rubicon.
Yeah. But I'm saying you'll never see that unless you order it.
Yes.
Yeah, as far as the ones that are actually going to go to dealer lots, they're going to be kind of the higher trim, the S trim of the Defender, or the first edition, or the X.
Yeah. So
John Gorbach says, I want to hear about the Tremor. I mean, we already discussed the Tremor and the 7.3.
He wanted to know what the power numbers were on the Power Stroke. We don't know. They haven't announced it.
No, they haven't announced it. Or towing is not announced.
I'm betting it's over 1,000.
Yes, because Ram has 1,000.
Yeah.
So Ford wants to probably beat that number.
Yeah.
We don't have those specs. Obviously, State Fair of Texas is coming. Maybe we'll hear something there.
We're both there, so we are expecting big things out of State Fair of Texas. A lot of truck news.
Yeah.
You've got some exciting trucks coming, guys. I mean, there's the TRX is definitely running around, so that's out there. The new Super Duties are out there.
The next Tundra.
The next Tundra.
The next Titan.
The next Titan. And a lot of trucks have actually died. Aren't you doing a video top 5 trucks that have died?
I would like to, yeah. Not just dead trucks, but dead, engines and other big options.
Yeah. Any other questions we can answer, dude?
Oh, Travis says, when are you going to off-road the Rivian R1T? Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're not ready yet. So we spoke to one of the PR managers there, recently. And he basically told us we're still 6 months out from the very first.
I'm sure you guys know this.
At least.
And you know this, Andre? There's been news at Rivian. They just got another infusion of $350 million. People are just throwing cash at them.
From Cox Automotive, right?
Yes, like popcorn to pigeons.
Well, that's a lot of money. So they're up to like 1.5 billion of investment already.
And the other big news, of course, is that there's been a stop sale on the Gladiator, but it's only like 3,500.
Yeah,
units.
not a huge stop sale, but
the stories make it seem like it's every Gladiator. It's just a certain trim for the drive shaft. I guess it shatters.
They didn't lubricate them properly. So you need to lubricate your drive shafts, guys.
So that recall, according to NHTSA, only affects about 3,500 Gladiators
correct.
right now.
And they'll fix it.
Do you lubricate your drive shaft, Andre?
No.
You don't? I don't either.
No, because I expect the factory to do it for me. Right?
I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you'd hope the factory would lubricate them. So there's not a stop sale. And we are talking about drive shafts, right?
Yes, we are.
So I have a few questions from the live chat if we want to stop talking about lubricating your drive shafts.
Okay, let's go.
One actually fits in the theme of the show, is from Cammed LS up at the top of the show. Why can't we get a single cab tremor?
Because no one's going to buy it.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So that's the same reason why people are discontinuing manual transmissions.
It's the same reason why people are curious about work trucks, but no one ever buys them, right?
I mean, fleet people buy them.
We did a whole series around the Frontier work truck. You guys wanted it, and nobody. It was like
it was the most affordable truck ever.
It landed like a big thud. Like they're just they're appliances. And I love work trucks. I love what they represent. I mean, work trucks are honest. They're America as much as America.
They're affordable. They're great.
But the stuff that people like to watch, right, is the stuff that is kind of show busy. It's the big man camper, that is bigger than
bigger than life.
Bigger than bigger than the Earth Roamer, much bigger. That's the stuff.
No, but the thing is, I mean, Ford and kind of the big three, Ford, GM, and Ram, they're very modifiable trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very easy to modify, and also Tundras, of course, and Titans.
Brad says that the Gladiator only looks good with oversized tires. I cringe and have to look the other direction. You puke in your mouth, Brad, every time I drive dealership and see them sitting on the stock.
I kind of agree.
Yeah, except for the one with the big axle, right? There's that one where you get the 44.
Well, the Rubicon.
No, not the Rubicon. You can get a stock.
Sure, yeah, you can get the Rubicon axle in the Sport.
In a Sport one.
Yeah.
That one looks cool. But yeah, you put a little steelies on it, it just looks silly.
Yeah, you need a bigger tire.
And by the way, Jeep Wranglers are like overproduced and overbuilt right now, so there's tons of them.
A lot of them on the lots, right?
And I think all you guys, I hate to say this, who spent over $60,000 on your Gladiator, probably spent about $10K too much, because I'm seeing that same thing happen with Gladiators. When the shine comes off the apple, they'll line them up on dealer lots.
By the way, at the end of the month, like October 1st or 2nd, we'll know sales numbers.
Yep.
You know how I love sales numbers and how Mr. Truck hates it. But we'll see exactly how many Ford Rangers were sold and Gladiators, because that's important, right? Because it seems like there's so much competition where I think somebody's going to struggle.
Yeah, I agree. I was having another conversation with somebody over at Ford, and they were telling me that they're just really surprised by how expensive the Gladiator is and how much more you can get in a Ranger for a lot less. And they're right? To get a locker in a Ranger is not that expensive. To get the off-road package, the FX4 is not that expensive. You could probably get a Ranger that on paper, right, is as off-road capable with the same kind of gear for probably $20,000 less, if not more, than a Gladiator.
Well, you will never get a front locker in a Ranger. So, I mean, you could argue those points but the most expensive Ranger, I think, it's about 47 grand. The most expensive Gladiator is about 63. So you're absolutely right. There's a huge gap there.
Brad says he usually lubricates his drive shaft daily. I think that's over lubricating, my friend.
Yeah, please don't do so much.
It's a good question, and I think that therein lies the rub with what makes trucks popular, right? The Gladiator is hot right now.
Well, it also has the look.
It has the look.
It's boxy. You can remove the roof.
It's got the pent-up demand.
Yeah.
And the Ranger is it was the it truck maybe like a year ago. Or maybe a year and a half ago, and now the Gladiator is the it truck. And it's incredible what people are willing to pay for the it truck.
Yeah, and you know what I'm hoping would happen with the big Bronco, the mid-size, large Bronco, is that it'll be similar to this Gladiator/Wrangler craze. Because Ford, could have that iconic thing that people have been waiting for a very long time. And supposedly, according to the patents that we're seeing that Ford is filing, it may have a removable roof, it may have a winch, it may have a removable grille, doors. So that could be a big hit, and I think Ford could laugh all the way to the bank with the Bronco. I'm hoping.
Dan says the Ranger is plenty capable as is without modifications.
It's true. He just bought one.
Yeah,
Dan
I agree.
Atkinson,
Yeah.
But true. So is the Gladiator. It's plenty capable without modification.
Yeah, they're both very capable, but
Yeah.
the truck for truck, you're going to pay a huge premium for the Gladiator.
So if you bought a $40,000 Ranger, you could invest 20 grand into it and make it insane
Or-
Raptor.
And someone had a comment about this earlier in the show. You could go with the best-selling truck, the most off-road version of this best-selling truck,
Tacoma
and get the Tacoma TRD Pro
for about
45 grand.
Yeah.
So Yaz says Ranger's an old chassis. And it's obvious from the reviews. Yes, it's an older chassis. It's a European chassis. But get this, so is the Nissan Frontier,
and it's selling really well.
They've had some of their best sales months, and that the Frontier makes the Ranger look like a spring chicken. Talk about your grandma's car.
So the Ranger is really complex, though, because it has an updated frame. Some of the interior is old. It has new tech. Some of the exterior is old. It's a weird mishmash.
So
of
any more
parts.
questions there?
Well,
Let's
from
keep going.
prepared questions.
keep going.
Here's one from Benjamin Burkhart.
Okay.
Does GM still offer an 8.1 liter in the heavy-duty trucks? I don't think GM offers an engine bigger than 6.2. Currently, they do not. They are medium-duty. Thomas Paul, by the way, huge.
Whoa, Thomas! Thank you.
Huge donation.
Dang,
Canadian.
dude. Yeah, Canadian. We love our Canadian.
One
viewers.
second, Thomas. The 8.1, I wish would come back, but it's not here yet. What's Thomas talking about?
He says, are you going to update the Model X video on the Gauntlet, one where the brakes on the trailer being used during regen due to brake light significant signal on? Second, what are the issues with regen and trailering, ice going downhill, and giving it an Ike Gauntlet score? So yeah, actually you should watch the video where we try to tow a 2,000-pound camper out to Portland and fail. Well,
That's coming this weekend.
It's coming this weekend, yeah. What we figured out towing with the Tesla is that you would think you would get more regen with a trailer.
Yes, and we did. So Thomas,
you don't.
we got 12 miles of energy down 8-mile stretch of Ike Gauntlet.
Right, but I don't think that's any more than you would get. Just
normally?
Normally, yeah. Yeah, we could not.
Okay.
We haven't done this test yet, but we could not really discern a huge difference with a trailer, because I think this is something for maybe a Tesla engineer. I think the regen isn't driven by how much weight is pushing it. It's just how much like energy is being
captured through it?
Yeah, how much energy, what the limiting factor isn't the weight, it's how much energy you can put back into the battery using the regen system.
Well,
yeah.
the thing is, the regen system, it's not like it uses the friction brakes.
Right.
So it's like the more you're trying to stop, the more it's going to regen. That's not the way it works. It uses the electric motor to re-harness energy
as a generator.
from the car moving.
As a generator.
So it can only do so much.
Yeah, exactly. I think that I mean, obviously you'd think that the more weight you're pushing down, the harder you can push that electric motor in reverse and generate more. But I don't think it works that way. I think there's a limit to how much that motor can regen, and I think you hit it when you're going down a steep grade. It doesn't matter whether you're towing or not. All it does is it helps you keep the load under control.
And by the way, you said it's a question for a Tesla engineer.
Yeah.
They will never explain this to us,
I know.
ever,
Yeah.
ever. Oh, here's Tommy.
Here's Tommy.
Tommy,
What up, Tommy?
So I have some insight on that question, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just had a really great conversation with Alex Dykes from Alex Donatos.
Yes.
Okay.
And Sophion Bay from Redline Reviews.
Yes.
And it was really interesting about how Tesla does their regen. And I guess when you are regenning in a Tesla, you are actually far from the maximum regen capability of what the vehicle can do. So in max regen, a vehicle could lock up its wheels. That's how strong the force is.
Okay.
And Tesla really dials it back. So even though you have that 1 foot braking capability, there is still a lot more they could do.
So why don't they do it?
Well, Tesla says they want a balance between 1 foot driving and also being
And
able to use
how extreme
makes
it is?
perfect
the
sense.
friction brakes, because they could unlock more in theory, but they don't. So by adding more weight, I don't think you're getting more regen.
But what Thomas Paul is also asking, Tommy, when we're coming down the Ike, you know how Tesla turns on its brake lights sometimes when you're regenning or decelerating? He was asking, when the brake light signal goes to the trailer, are you also using the trailer brakes to slow yourself down, thus wasting some of that regen?
I really don't think you do, because keep in mind that the braking force comes out of the brake controller, right? So that's the one that's really in charge of that. And I
But
think
you're not touching the brake.
No, you're
in
never
this
touching
case.
the brake.
Yeah.
I mean, it will engage the brake lights depending on how hard it's regenning.
Right.
But keep in mind that you're using essentially what's like a little gyro, right, inside that Prodigy P2 to control the braking force. So I don't think it has anything to do with the brake light signal.
I think there is just a natural human hope and desire for the perpetual energy machine, right?
Yeah, I have that hope.
I have that hope
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And so what you want is like, hey, we drive up
Free
the mountain,
energy on the way
up
down.
the mountain, and we're going to use, let's say, 10 kilowatts of energy, right? And we drive down the mountain and we regen 10, but it doesn't work that way. I
No,
think it's
life-
very
real
far,
life
very,
sucks.
very far from there. As we found out when we tried to tow, because we were really struggling going up the hills, burning electricity like you wouldn't believe, Andre. And then we were like, "Where's the downhill? Where's the downhill?" You'll see it in the video. And then finally downhill came, and we're like, "So where's
Not much
where's the
happened?
regen?" Yeah.
Not much.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I lost my train of
Can
thought.
I leave you with one thought here while you figure out
Yes.
where your train went?
Yes.
All right. And I hate to say this because I'm a fan of electric cars. I think it's great. I love choice, right? I'm not against ICE cars. I don't care, right? I love both
If
technologies.
it's a good car, it's a good car.
And I
Yeah.
love choice. I love the fact that we have choice. So I want that choice to stay around. But given our experiences with the Tesla, given current technology, if there were an electric truck today, it would only be something like, let's call it a Ridgeline, where that's even not fair to a Ridgeline. It would be a lifestyle truck. So it would be the kind of truck where if you want to take your surfboard down to Malibu and do a little bit of surfing,
And come back home.
yeah, come back home, that's what you can do. But it's not going to be one that you can use as a tool.
On
Yes.
that note, Taker 610 is saying Nikola's hydrogen electric hybrid semi-truck solution or Tesla's pure electric solution for trucking. Which one will win out and why? I'm thinking Nikola might win out because Tesla has been working on their semi-truck. They only have like 1 or 2 prototypes, not on sale. Same with Nikola, but actually refueling it with hydrogen or something else is much quicker, as we found out, than charging for an hour
There's
or
two big
or
issues
three.
that we ran into. It's the same issue that you have with electric cars, right? It's recharge time and energy density, right? So you can't get it, and the problem with the recharge time is when you use a lot of energy right now, you have to spend a lot of time recharging, making it almost impossible to go cross country.
Yes.
Unless you enjoy,
So trucking is
unless
all
you-
about going long distance.
Yes, if you enjoy sitting in hotel parking lots looking at empty
Fields?
of great American corn, then you will love electric car cross-country driving. That's one. But the bigger problem, of course, is this issue with energy density, right? And so, yes, you can. The Tesla has a 100 kilowatt battery.
Kilowatt hour,
Yeah,
yes.
you could double that, right?
Yes, but you're doubling the weight.
Which means you're killing the payload.
Yes. Or
Exactly.
you're killing your acceleration, everything.
Right.
Everything
Yeah.
is going there.
It's a very difficult math given the current state of.
So that's a hard one. That's a hard one
yeah.
because I want them to succeed. So I hope something happens with the battery technology. Remember we talked to Atlas
Yep.
on the phone?
Yeah.
Atlas is promising a new, really fast charging battery technology that's also energy dense. But once again, they're in the early stages. They're still probably, in my opinion, several years away from real solutions.
Two really interesting comments here. Aaron Britt, thank you, says region is based on wheel spin, not weight. There you go. That basically is the same thing. But this is a really interesting one. Tommy and I were having a long discussion about this. Funny thing, horsepower in Japan is rated in kilowatts. And I think we're actually going there, right? You can convert horsepower to kilowatts directly.
Sure.
And I think with electric cars and now ICE cars, it makes a lot more sense to rate stuff in
Kilowatts,
yeah.
And the energy in kilowatt hours,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
And actually, the new Escape I was just driving, right? We were driving the hybrid. Driving impressions are still embargoed, so I can't talk about it. But I can say there's a little meter there on the right side of your dash. And there's 2 numbers, and they're really interesting. So the one number tells you kilowatts that are being generated by the battery, and the other number tells you by the motor. No, not by the motor. Sorry, one's from the battery, and one's from the engine.
Okay.
So when you accelerate,
gas engine.
Yeah, when you accelerate,
Okay.
you see 2 numbers. You see
Okay.
how much energy is being generated.
And they're being added together, basically.
No, you just see the two different ones.
Okay.
It's really fascinating to watch because you could see just how much power the engine's producing and then how much the battery is drawing. Right, yeah. And it's cool. And I think that's where we're going. I think we're definitely going to a point where energy is going to be in kilowatts and not in horsepower.
I just hope we don't do the Newton meters for torque because it's really kind of hard to say and it's just confusing.
All right, let's talk about this one. Thank you. Jeff Ref 2000, didn't Rivian file a patent for a removable auxiliary bed battery extending towing range?
They have up to 180 kilowatt hour in their biggest, that's what they communicated.
Yeah.
And I think they did have something, I don't remember exactly if it was bed mounted, but it's taking bed space.
Yeah.
So you're losing bed space in order to get the bigger battery.
Guys, and here's the thing about batteries, right? So just don't be fooled. Right now, there are basically 2 Japanese companies that hold much of the patents for batteries.
And the production capacity.
Yeah, and that's LG and Panasonic. And out of all the major manufacturers, they're either using LG or Panasonic batteries. There's no other mystery battery out there that's lighter and faster and more powerful.
And that's kind of unfortunate because if somebody, a small company wants to break through, it's really hard for them to do that.
Yeah. And there is, well, here's another fact. So Panasonic basically provides batteries to Tesla. So people think that Tesla uses their own battery tech. They're using Panasonic battery with their own, they call it their own proprietary chemical makeup.
And cooling and stuff?
No, the chemistry of the battery.
Sure.
But it's basically a patent. By the way, we got one from Nebushyanovich, yeah?
That's a ZF guy. So Neb, thank you for donating.
Yeah, thank you for watching. And we should talk about, let's talk about what they're up to. There's more about that. And then Thomas Paul, 20 Canadian, why not compare the cost per mile going up the iGauntlet at 60 instead of 65? I don't need long range in a majority of, so that's a good question. Why don't we do 60 and not 65? So we ran into that issue actually towing with the Tesla. In America, and I don't know if you're from America, Thomas, you're from Canada, I suspect, but in America there are places, and I ran into this in Banff, right? We drove from Calgary to Banff, beautiful highway. Oh my God, Andre, it's so gorgeous, right? Mm-hmm. Beautiful
mountains,
but the road is perfect. It is like an ice skating rink, absolutely perfect. The speed limit is so low, right? You guys just drive so slowly. And in America, like there are sections where the speed limit that we just drove to Portland,
80,
most
85,
of it's Portland is 80, and people are going 85. And dude, if you're driving at 60, it's dangerous.
Yeah, you have to swerve around people.
Yeah, people swerve around you. They flash their lights. You just can't go. It's a nice thought in theory. Maybe if you're on the East Coast and you're driving through New York, or maybe if you're in Canada where people actually observe the speed limit. But in America, there's nothing in Wyoming. There's nothing in Utah. There's nothing in Idaho, right? And people are flying at 85. And if you're chugging along at 60, it's no good. So let's talk about the newest press release from our friends over at ZF.
Before you get into that. There are a couple commenters just want to point out that LG is Korean, not Japanese.
Oh, sorry, LG is Korean.
And just want to correct the record.
Thank you for the correction. And actually, there's a third manufacturer of batteries whose name I can't pronounce, and they're in China. So there's 3 major companies.
Like CAT?
It's like C something. So they're providing the batteries for many of the Japanese automakers, but the Western automakers at least are LG and Panasonic. So let's talk about what ZF's up to.
What press release are you referring to?
They said that there's more stuff coming. There's more interesting stuff coming from ZF. He sent us a press release. So what else are they doing? And I don't want to go into 4-wheel steering. We talked about that last time. So you remember what else there was? I kind of quickly glanced at it.
No, I don't know much. Maybe Neb can provide some detail, but ZF is a big supplier of all the components.
No,
we're talking about transmissions.
There's something else.
They're looking at autonomous. They're looking at electrification, electric transmissions that are capable of
And by the way,
all that
you
stuff.
can't use autopilot when towing with a Tesla.
It doesn't allow you.
Yeah, no. So once that little trailer icon comes on, you can't. And so one of the perks, and we weren't going to use it anyway because I think it's dangerous, but potentially one of the perks of towing electric is that you could use autopilot, but it doesn't. So here's the last thing we're going to talk about, Andre. I think this is important, and this is something else I learned.
CATL is the name of the company.
Thank you very much.
Cattle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's something else we learned. There's been kind of this understanding by the manufacturers recently, and I'm talking about Ford, GM, and even FCA, right, that towing is very stressful for most people. And that's, I used to do triathlons, right? And we called the sport that kept people from getting into a triathlon the limiter? So what, swim, bike, run. What out of those three, what's the limiter? The one that keeps people from getting into it.
I think swimming.
Exactly, swimming.
Yeah.
Swimming is hard. It's
hard to access.
It's off-putting. It's dangerous.
Okay.
You can drown. People are scared of it. And so what keeps people from doing triathlons is the swim portion of it, because that's the part that is really hard. And not just physically, it's maybe
Mentally
no
also,
harder.
yeah.
It's just, you got to find a pool. You got to get good at the sport. It's just a whole thing. And I think there's been this understanding by the manufacturers that people want to tow, and if you do it like Andre does, getting your CDL, it's not stressful. But for most people, towing is extremely stressful, right? Mm-hmm. Because a couple things, and me and Tommy had this huge argument about it, right? A couple things that happen. First of all, you don't want to wipe anybody out with whatever you're towing.
Right.
That's stressful.
Yeah. Going down the mountain.
I don't think that's stressful. Secondly, backing up is incredibly stressful, right? Getting into a situation where you have to back up, and then the trailer all of a sudden, So if you think about that, the manufacturers has come up with a little trailer assist that lets you actually do that. They've also come up with now cameras that let you see what's behind you, so that you're not wiping things out, right? So they're trying to lower that stress level so that more people buy trucks.
And trailers.
Yeah. Well, so more people go out and camp or buy boats, so that it's not the limiter to them buying trucks.
Yes.
And it's working. Mm-hmm. Tesla takes that stress, and they take it not to the next level, but they take it like 10 levels up. And that's the problem.
And what is that stress based on?
Well, there's a bunch of stress, right? So one of the stresses is you can't supercharge without finding a supercharger that you can pull into. Most of them are back.
So you have to unhook a trailer.
Yeah, but that's
okay,
relatively stressful.
It's an inconvenience.
It's an
huge inconvenience.
And by the way, you'll see it in the video. I'll give you a hint, right? So we pull into Laramie. This is pretty funny. We pull into Laramie, and we finally found a supercharger where you can actually pull in. And 8 superchargers, one where you can pull in. You don't have to unhook the trailer. There's a Tesla Model X parked there.
With no trailer.
With no trailer and not hooked up. Not hooked up at all. Just sitting there, and there's a guy in the thing. So I'm like, what the? Let me go and ask the man politely if he can move his Tesla so that we don't have to unhook, so we don't have to take up all the spaces. Okay. So I walk up to him and I go, hey, I'm towing. You're the only one that I actually don't have to back up into. And could you move? And he's super nice. By the way, Tesla people, when you meet them on the road, they're really nice. It's like a whole colony of, right? Yeah. He's like, I'd love to, but my Tesla's bricked. And what he had done was he had decided to do a software update.
Yes.
And it takes about 45 minutes and it breaks your Tesla. So he was not going. It was like that little, like in the Apple, you get that little
progress bar.
Progress bar, yeah.
Okay.
And so, guess what I did?
You pushed them out of the way.
No, you can't move it. You cannot move. The wheels are.
What did you do?
I took up like 8 spaces.
Oh, so you're the nicest guy, the nicest Tesla guy.
I pull in and
you take the entire row.
Well,
there was nobody else there, right?
It was liminal area. There was nobody else there. Maybe 6 spaces. So that's what we end up having to do. But what makes towing in a Tesla so incredibly stressful is you're burning energy at such a rate that you don't know whether you'll actually run out of energy. And that it's like range anxiety taken up to the highest notch, because not only are you now facing all the usual towing stuff, where do I pull in, how do I back up, but what the hell happens if I run out of fuel, and now I've got not only my car but also this trailer that, not fuel but electricity, right?
Yeah.
That I can't move out of the way.
Plus, you're seeing that graph go down, right?
You're
seeing the energy graph.
If in the Tesla when towing, how you have those like meters on the side of the building that spin right when using?
Yeah.
If they had one of those in the Tesla, you could like cut ham with it. You could get really nice slices of ham. It would be spinning that fast. It'd be like.
Yes. So Thomas Paul, I'm not sure why you're upset with us. We're trying to push the boundaries.
Yes. Why is he upset with us?
Because he says we're avoiding his questions.
Thomas, what questions are we trying to avoid, dude?
No, dude. So first of all, he wants us to score the Tesla on the Ike.
Yeah.
That Ike we did is the first electric car Ike ever that we've done.
Are you like a Tesla fanboy, dude? Because if you're a Tesla fanboy, there's nothing in the world that I could say that will make you not hate me. Because the slightest bit of criticism is like, criticizing God.
Hang on a second, because I was going to end the show on this, because we are running really long on time.
Yeah, we are.
One issue, I mean, Roman, I think you hit it on the head with range with towing is a big issue. And anything as far as changing the culture, particularly in the truck world, to convince people to buy electric vehicles for towing. If we feel like we're going backwards, like as far as the stress levels are concerned, as far as the range is concerned, we're not going to do it. And right when we were starting to talk about electric vehicles, people were saying, I just want a V8 in the F-150 Raptor. You know, here's everything I want to do to my Super Duty.
Sure.
When's the Ranger Raptor coming? And that's where the culture is at the moment. So, you know, electric trucks are coming. But in order to actually be widely adopted, I mean, it's got to get to the point, and development's got to get to a point. I don't know if it's solid state batteries that are going to do this to help with the range, charging technology is going to improve or what. But it's got to get to a certain point where people can have that discussion and decide, okay, I don't feel like this is going to be a major inconvenience or stressor in my life, so I'll buy a Tesla or I'll buy a Rivian. So
or whatever it may be, whatever vehicle it is. And I absolutely agree. Of course, there is culture of trucking, and people are very brand loyal. There's Ford, GM, etc., Ram, Toyota, Nissan. Every brand has their own support and the following. And what we're trying to do here at TFL Truck is to, we know it's going there. It may take several years or a decade or something, but we want to start testing now so that we're learning about the electric towing and all the other aspects of it. And we always try to be on the cutting edge, right?
Right. Yeah.
Just exploring that capability. So Thomas, I'm not sure why you're kind of upset with us here.
Saying,
hey, Thomas just donated $13.99 Canadian. Yes. So thank you, Thomas. That was very nice of you. He wants to know, what about the 80% of the population that does short range? What about cost per mile?
That's an upside to having an electric vehicle. I don't think we've ever disputed that.
No, cost
per mile is great.
It's great. It's probably
great.
You know, we found it's probably every time we filled up the truck, which has basically the range of the Tesla, because it's got a fuel thimble, right, for gas tank.
Yes.
It was like $50. Filling up the Tesla was basically $10.
Yeah, that's a huge saving.
Yeah, 20% of that. But then again, what's my time worth? I spent 45 minutes at the Laramie supercharger waiting for it to charge up. Yeah.
Or 5 minutes filling a tank.
Yeah. So yeah, is it worth $40? Probably not. Okay.
For some people it may be,
but the brain damage for me, because I'm a Type A person, when I'm on a road trip, there are two kinds of people on a road trip. Which one are you, by the way? Like, I'm the kind of person who just wants to get there, right? Some people love the journey. On a road trip, I just love the destination. I just want to get there, I want to drive, and I want to be done with it. Right? I don't enjoy the experience. By the way, Skiar says, putting an order for a new 2020 Ford Raptor. Keep up the good work, Doc. Congratulations, dude.
Nice.
I'm jealous.
Good truck.
We just spent less on this new truck we bought than you did on your tax. Or you will on your tax.
Dude, if I was retired, which I'm not, I always try to be most efficient with my time. Yeah. So I want to get there. Obviously, we're lucky. We live in a beautiful country, right? So obviously looking at stuff, you even stopped at the museum for a little while. But I think getting there is more important right now, at least for me.
Yeah, so it may depend on that. The other thing we did was, by the way, when we did this road trip with the Tesla, we interviewed the people who were supercharging. They were super nice, and all of them were in love with their Teslas, right? I understand the love thing.
And it's a comfortable car. It's nice.
I completely understand it. But at some point, when you make it religious and political, then it becomes weird, right? And for us, it's not either of those things. We're not trying to save the earth, and we're not trying to preach the Bible of electricity, nor the Bible of internal combustion engines,
or the dinosaurs.
Yeah, we're just kind of out there as everyday guys trying to figure out, if I have this much money to spend, what's the upside to doing it with this vehicle versus this vehicle? And one may be a Toyota, and one may be a Honda, or one may be a Ford, one may be a GM, or one may be an electric car, and one may be, right? That's what we're looking at. Just what's it like to live with these cars? And we purposefully do not put any politics or any religion or anything else into this conversation, because we want it to be about the vehicle, not about where the power comes from. That's a whole conversation that we never want to have.
Yeah, cold, wind, sun. Taker 610, $5. There's a Komatsu dump truck with a battery. Electric motors are very powerful. Trucker Dan, we don't mind to go over 30 minutes. Don't stress on the length.
We're going on double that, though.
Well, we're going to double that.
Yeah. And I got to say, now that I brought up the whole politics of it, one of the things that I think makes Tesla so attractive to people and so hated by others is, I interviewed Elon a long time ago, right? And the first thing he did was he kind of politicized the company, right? He made it not about building a good car, but he made it about saving the earth. And you can have a long argument about whether it's more efficient to burn dinosaurs in your gas tank or to burn dinosaurs in the coal power
Plant or whatever,
or
yeah.
to get power from solar or
Wind.
hydro or
How-
wind.
what energy does it take to produce
Right.
battery?
Whatever.
Whatever.
But at the end of the day, when you make something political, you're gonna, alienate. You're gonna make half the people love you, and you're gonna alienate half the people. And we don't want to get into politics. We just want to talk about the vehicle. And my experience with Tommy when we were towing was we gave up because I'm gonna spoil it. I'll give you the spoiler. The problem was, in order to make it to Portland, which is 1,200 miles from here, we would have had to drive an hour and a half, charge for 45 minutes. Drive an hour and a half, drive for 45 minutes.
If you could make it.
And there was a section that we probably, maybe if we had gone like 30 or 40 miles below the speed limit between basically Utah and Boise, Idaho, where you have to go 140 miles without recharging stations.
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there. We probably wouldn't have made it. So, I think that's a realistic issue that a lot of people will have. And I don't see that being solved by electric trucks. Because if you double the battery in the Rivian, which is what they're saying.
Sure.
So effectively, the Tesla Model X that we have has a range of 325 miles. That's what
We'll test that also.
we'll test it. Yeah, we'll test that. When you tow, you'll be lucky to get 100. And we're towing, Andre, a light trailer. 2,000
light
pounds
trailer, yeah.
in the world of towing is
It could have been 10,000.
it's
or
like
real.
it's the light beer. It's not the Jack Daniels. It's the
Yeah.
light beer. I hate
Yeah.
to use that analogy, but it's true. It's
Yeah.
just it's not a lot of weight, and I don't see that changing. So you double the battery, you're gonna double the weight. You're gonna kill your payload, and you still big deal. So let's say you double the battery, and now you can tow 150 miles without stopping.
Maybe
You're also gonna
200,
double
yeah.
the recharge range.
yeah.
Right?
Time.
Yeah. So.
So it's a tough question,
Yeah.
and we'll continue testing this.
Yeah, we'll
right?
continue testing. And by the way, 2 questions I came up with, and maybe you guys could answer this because I'm sure this is political. First of all, why don't they just cover the car with solar panels? I know that Nissan came out with a Leaf and they put solar panels on that little spoiler a few years ago, and basically all that did was trickle charge the 12-volt battery. But can't you have like the whole roof and the whole hood covered with batteries
Of
or
course you
solar
could.
panels that would actually, maybe not significantly, but at least
But help you?
help you recharge the battery? Wouldn't that be cool? It just
Yeah.
seems like I don't know the.
I think it's probably incremental cost.
Yeah.
I mean, the car is already very expensive. I mean, you're adding, we talked about ZF, right? I brought up adding rear steering to trucks, and everybody said it's too expensive, can't afford another turning component. But it's cool.
I want to answer Thomas's question. He brings up a good question.
Yeah, what is
And
it?
then other thing I don't get is why aren't gas stations putting up chargers? I mean, if you in California, they're putting up a hydrogen station. So in California, if there's a hydrogen station, it's at a gas station, right? They have the regular gas stations, and off on the corner is a hydrogen station. Why isn't any gas station putting up like an electric charger? Because that's where it's going, right? I mean, it's definitely going there. Wouldn't that be the smart thing to do? If I'm going to spend 45 minutes at the Laramie Days Inn or whatever the hell it was, I actually went in there and bought drinks because I was bored.
Into the hotel.
Yeah. I would do the same thing at a gas station.
Absolutely.
So Thomas, I'll end with you because
You've donated a lot to us, so we really
Thomas
appreciate
says this is a really good question, but you guys don't show the cost per mile. Why not add to the Ike Gauntlet? How will this be scored? The EV. So there's 2 reasons.
So,
for it. And one's
Can I
practical-
answer that?
Yeah, yes, please.
Really quick?
Yeah.
So we do MPG highway tests,
Yes.
which is different from the Ike.
Yeah.
The Ike is an extreme power and deceleration test, down the mountain and up the mountain. There are no fueling stations or chargers up there.
Right.
Other than the Silverthorne, of course,
Right.
charger. But what I would like to add, and I will add it tomorrow, and I've done it before already, is actually our highway loop. We can add cost per mile
Yeah, we
easily.
can. Yeah, that one we can.
Very easily.
The problem with the Ike Gauntlet is you'd have to have, at least in theory, to get it exactly right, which is what we want to do, you'd have to have either a charging station or a gas station at the bottom and top of the Ike, right? Because we don't trust what the vehicles say.
Yes.
So there has to be a way
Some sort of a
independently measure.
judge
Yeah, so
that.
the problem is we can fill it up at the bottom in Silverthorne, but then we drive up and then the truck says 3.6
X,
miles,
yeah.
and we have no way of verifying that unless we drive down. And the second we drive down, that number is going to get skewed.
What if there is a traffic on a turnaround,
Right,
et cetera,
Got
et
a
cetera?
donation.
Bigfoot Ave,
Yeah.
$5. Thank you.
Oh, that's another great argument. I got an email, and we get this all the time. why aren't we testing trucks that are geared the same way? Why aren't we?
Yeah,
testing
we get a
trucks?
lot of questions
Why
like this.
Why aren't we doing that, Andre?
Well, because
You can't do it.
we request trucks and we try to get them configured comparably.
Yeah.
But manufacturers send us trucks that are built. Sometimes they have different gear ratios.
Yes.
But also, like somebody was telling me, Power Wagon has a 410.
Yeah.
Why not put a 410 and a 4 to compare it against? Well, that's not how the vehicle is developed, right? It has a 410 because engineers decided that the tire diameter and the transmission and the differential all work in this way, so 410 makes sense. Ford did something else, so they have a 373 or a 355. It doesn't make sense to have the same differential because
yeah.
tires matter, everything else matters.
Yeah, exactly. So tire size matters.
Transmission matters.
Yeah, and you know, I think I can't understate how hard it is to get trucks with the same gear ratio and the exact same everything, right? It would be easier.
Cab.
It would be easier to supercharge a Tesla at the local Shell station than it would be actually to get two trucks that are identical in that regard. So.
And also, we do crawl tests.
Yes.
Right, which
Yes.
is our attempt of testing ratio. So. You guys have seen that. Crawling tests for off-road trucks, that's what we do.
Yeah.
392 in a Hemi, that's a good ratio. But 392 may not work in a Ford because they're tested differently. They have different transmissions, they have different tires, etc.
Yeah, it's just something that and then the other problem, guys, is you know, like Andre's very scientific, right? You're a mathematician.
I like numbers.
He likes numbers,
Yeah.
and he likes to do like double blind tests, right? Where it's very scientific and it's very like predictable. But in the real world, things don't work that way, and so we always walk this balance
Or
between.
in the real world, it's boring.
Yeah, or it's boring. We're
Yeah.
making videos that people want to watch. So we're always walking this line between real world testing and making interesting and fun videos. The people who are making the most money on YouTube, which is, let's face it, what keeps this company alive, are people who aren't doing any testing. They're people who have no off-road experience. These aren't people who are actually even driving vehicles, right? You look at people like Scotty Kilmer, who's got this huge channel. It's just people who are out there, expressing their opinions,
Yeah.
right? And that is much easier. This is much easier than actually going and running a truck up the Ike. It just takes so much time, effort.
Setting up a trailer, weight,
doing it,
etc.
and getting the vehicles. That's why we're so grateful for you guys, because you allow us to do that. We're not out there.
And Kevin donated another $2. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. We're not out there
Gentry.
just kind of hopefully, talking. We're out there actually testing, and that's hard. And
Well,
I
think
appreciate the fact that you guys support that.
that's a point I think we can end on too. Just to get back to one thing Thomas Paul was saying earlier, just to make sure that his questions are covered here, about you don't talk about the dangers of towing with an internal combustion engine, but that's part of what the Ike Gauntlet is designed to do. We actually test these trucks, particularly, I'm talking about the downhill portion on the Ike. So we talk about engine braking where it's applicable. We talk about all the safety checks we do. We use weight distributing hitches. We go through all the processes to make sure that we tow as safely as possible.
So
that's what the test is
we had
designed to show.
Thank you, SKR.
Yeah, thank you, Skay.
Yeah.
When we towed with an F-150 diesel, we had a software issue with the transmission. We showed it.
Yeah.
So it's not true that we're ignoring other issues. It was very uncomfortable situation to be going downhill in a truck with a trailer and you having transmission
Travis,
error.
thank you very much. Yeah.
Transmission error.
Yeah.
That's really unnerving.
Yeah. It's unnerving. It's also unnerving when you say we hide things. I remember
Yeah.
that 250 that completely ate its own
Belt.
Yeah, that we showed. If it happens and we've got cameras not rolling, we will roll cameras and we will always show you.
And we're doing that coming up, with the Jeep.
It's
We had
Jeep.
issues with the Jeep.
Yeah, you'll
we
see
had
what
issues
happened.
with the Ram.
Yeah, we had issues.
We're going to show that.
Yeah. So it's good, bad, and ugly, and sometimes the video process is ugly. But
And Travis, thank you for your $20 donation.
Yep, thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you. All right,
So
guys.
should we close?
Yeah, I think we
this
should.
has been kind of a really good show. I think.
Yeah, and thank you guys for it's a lot of donations. It really helps keep this funded, and it makes me feel like getting up in the morning and coming up with the best possible videos. One of the ones I want to do, Andre, that we figured out from our little towing extravaganza is how much does a rooftop tent actually
Cost you per mile.
per mile.
Thomas?
By
Thomas?
Yeah, we're gonna do that because they're really
Yes.
in fuel economy and in dollars. So, we'll do
So
that.
when you add a rooftop tent, which is big,
Yeah.
it really ruins your aerodynamics.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that video where we bought this new truck. Tommy really really was not happy with me because it meant we had to sell an old truck.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one more thing too. Travis, who just donated the $20, was dude, I love my ride. Guess with an F-150. Said I traded it in for a Gladiator. And he has mixed feelings. Do send an email to us at ask@tfltruck.com and let us know
Robert,
your
Kevin,
experience.
yeah, and
we'd love-
Travis, please come
bring
by.
It, yeah, bring it in. We'd love to hear
Please
from
come
you.
by.
Roberto
Rodriguez.
Yeah, says no matter what, you guys are professional, honest, and down to earth people having fun with your business. Keep it up. And Kevin Gentry,
Another $25, Kevin. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
So, yeah.
bring the Gladiator. We'd love to know your experience with it. Yeah.
And tell us about it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Okay.
And what's next, Andre?
Well, next,
You're doing an MPG test tomorrow on the
EcoDiesel, the
on the-
2020.
yeah,
So that's next. We have some trips coming up. You're actually going to be in the Gladiator next week, right?
Yeah, I'm going. Get this. I'm going to go drive the Gladiator over the Rubicon Trail with Tommy. That's going to be super.
That's going to be interesting because
That's like a bucket list thing for me and Tommy.
you struggled in the Wrangler, and now it's a Gladiator.
Yep. And then
So-
we've got actually Alex on Autos. If you guys know him, he's doing a video for us driving the new Talkin in Europe. So
Porsche. And
Dale, thank you very much.
Tommy did the video with Jason from Engineering Explained.
Yeah, if you
on
want
car.
Yeah, if you want to see a fun video, check out Jason with Tommy. He asked. Tommy was very fun and very.
It was
cool.
fun.
Yeah, he asked Jason, does he like The Office better or Parks and Rec? You guys like Parks and Rec or The Office?
Dale, $50.
What do you
Thank
like
you.
better, Parks and Rec or The Office?
Parks and Rec.
Why?
Because I don't like to be in the office. Yeah, I like parks better.
How about you, Zach? Parks and Rec or The Office? Which one are you?
It's a tough call. I'm gonna have to think about it.
Oh, come on. There's only one answer.
Stranger Things.
No, there's only one answer. And
Yes, that's the answer right there. I like-
The Office. The answer is The Office. The answer is Parks and Recs because of what's his name? The guy with the mustache. He's the best character in all of
yes,
TV.
he is.
What's his name? Did you watch it? Come on, somebody give me his name.
Somebody will tell us.
Yeah, what's
Help
his
us.
name? Ron. Isn't it Ron? Where he makes furniture. You don't watch Parks and Rec.
I've watched a couple episodes. I have no
You
time.
don't watch Parks and Recs. Thomas, thank you. EVs are different. Less steering weight. Astushi, I can't even pronounce your name, dude. Kujimiya.
Not $10. Thank you.
$10, yeah. So we're getting Office.
What's
I
his
love
name?
both. Ron Swanson.
Yes.
I love Ron Swanson. You gotta love that
Yes.
dude, man.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you for all your donations. Thank you for watching. Remember, check out the We Failed Towing video that's coming up this Sunday. I can't wait to see it myself. I know Ian just finished it. All right, play us out, dude.
All right, thanks, dude. Here's some music. Oh. Easy going.
It could be the original Office from the UK. How about that one?
That's better.